The Knicks' two-game spurt came to an end on Saturday as the team ended rivalry week with their ninth straight loss to the Brooklyn Nets. But as we inch closer to the trade deadline, the Knickerbockers have an important slate of games coming up this week. So we're going to talk some Knicks hoops. One of the co-hosts of the Knick of Time Show, that is Lee Escobedo. He joins me now. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Always a blessing to be able to represent my guys on Knick of Time Show, which is a Knicks podcast hosted by two black intellectuals, Jay Ellis and Ryan G. Very happy to be here representing those guys.
Yeah, I love what you guys do. Always glad to have you here to talk some Knicks hoops. So let's get right to it, Lee. The Nets, they sunk 22 three-pointers on Saturday in Brooklyn against the Knicks. Three-point defense was a concern early in the season for New York. Are you now concerned about how this team is defending on the perimeter again?
Dexter, there were three numbers from Saturday night's game against the Nets that reinforced Tom Thibodeau's weakness as a head coach. First, the Nets shot 22 threes and hit them at 55%. While we were sixth in three-point defense this season, we have fallen to 25th in the last three games, which coincided with Mitch's absence. This stretch has exposed Tibbs' incorrect usage of Hartenstein and Jericho Sims in drop coverage instead of closing out on shooters, and it's decimated our defensive scheme. Second, 19 assists. We're dead last in assist percentage, third worst in assists per game, second worst in assist ratio, and fourth worst in pace, which reveals Tibbs' antiquated half-course offense predicated on isolation plays and guys staying idle in the quarter. And third, 10 minutes again for Obi Toppin, which is below his 15-point minute per game showing that continues to depreciate him as a player, an asset, and a human being. Tibbs has regulated him to a corner shooter, which has really eroded what makes him great finishing at the rim. He's now the third worst player of first, second, and third-year players at finishing around the basket.
Every time I talk to you, Lee, I feel like you are building the case to for the Knicks to move on from Tom Thibodeau. I feel like that case is just building. I know we're going to, as we get further in the season, I know we're going to talk about it more and more. Now, we did see this. You're talking about offense, and you talked a lot about right there. We saw the Knicks make a comeback against the Nets, but they fell short. The team dominated in the paint, but they only hit 10 three-pointers. So in your eyes, is it imperative that the Knicks add another shooter by the trade deadline?
Absolutely. Those who think we need to stand pat at the deadline can't see the forest for the trees. In his most recent interview, James Dolan set an expectation to make the playoffs, which we are on track to do. But in order for us to not to be embarrassed in the first round again, we have to add shooting on the bench. And those guys like Gary Trent Jr., Josh Hart, Kenyon Martin Jr. that are available and affordable targets, we can't stand pat. We must pursue. But thank goodness for Emmanuel Quickly, who has made huge strides on both sides of the ball this season, becoming an advanced metrics darling. But Miles McBride, Sims, Hartenstein, these guys struggle to score. We need length, athleticism, and on-ball ability.
All right, those are things the Knicks should look to do or add at the trade deadline. We will see if they do. Now, this week, Lee, 4-game homestand for the Knickerbockers. They host the Lakers, Miami Heat, the Clippers, and the Sixers. The team hasn't been as strong as home as they've been on the road. So what are you looking for the Knicks to accomplish during this 4-game homestand?
Let's give Tibbs some flowers. This team has fight. One of his best attributes as a coach, he gets guys to buy in and to stay bought in towards winning. For the past 2 years, we've been clamoring to play the kids. Now that Leon Rose took away Tibbs' toys and Albert Burks and Noel, they're playing. But that means you get the good and the bad of our young core. I can live with losing close games because our young guys make mistakes. I can't live with losing close games because of coaching decisions or indecisions. We can forgive the kids, critique the coach.
Critique the coach. All right. Well, look, I feel like you are giving some opportunity to give them some of his flowers, see some criticism.
You have to.
We will see, but you're seeing how things are going. So it's an important 4-game homestand for the Knicks, as I said, coming up this week. You know, Lee Escobedo, co-host of the Knick of Time Show. He will be all over it watching with his great analysis. Lee, thank you for the time. We will talk to you again soon about some Knicks basketball.
Blessings to you, Dexter. Let's go Knicks.